Okay, we're going to talk about time signature. Every piece of music has a time signature. I shouldn't say every, but pretty much everything you'll ever deal with has a time signature. Time signatures tell you two things. The top note is BPM, or beats per measure. So whatever the top number is, we have that many beats in a measure. 4/4, which is the most common time signature that you'll encounter, is 4 beats per measure. Sometimes BPM means beats per minute, which has to deal with a metronome. We're talking about per measure right now. Most people remember that. Most people can remember the top number. When we ask what the bottom number is, we get crickets, because most people don't remember that. Here's a really easy way to think about it. Think about the bottom number as the bottom number of a fraction with a 1 on top. So in this case, 4. So that tells me that that stands for 1/4 or 1/4 or 1 quarter note, which gets 1 beat. Bottom number is 4. 1/4 equals a quarter note, fourth quarter, gets 1 beat. Okay, so 4 beats per measure, quarter note gets 1 count. We can put any combination of numbers together. We could have 3/4, exactly the same as that, except now 3 beats per measure, still quarter note equals 1 count. Okay, those are pretty easy, pretty common. I could make that a 2 beats per measure. I could make that a 5, 6, 7, be that number of beats in a measure, still quarter note gets 1 count. Pretty simple. Sometimes you will see that. C stands for common. Most common time signature is 4/4 time. At some point, I think somebody just got lazy to write 2 4s and just said, that's pretty common. So what's common? You'll also see that, which is another video. That's cut time. Still really simple, but cut time. Let's look. So if you look at that, right away you should think 3 beats per measure, because that's pretty much always a given. But now we have a 2 on the bottom. So again, think bottom of a fraction. 1/2, that's a half. So now a half note gets 1 count. Okay? But again, another video, we'll get into that later, but I just wanted you to see how easy that was. 2 equals a half. Half note gets 1 count. So if you wrote one measure of 3/2 time, it might look like that. And if you were writing the counting in, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we went pretty deep, but that's how easy time signatures are. Just always remember, top number is beats per measure. The bottom number tells you what note gets 1 count. Think of it like a fraction. If it's a 4, it's a quarter note. If it's a 2, it's a half note. You could see an 8, which would be an eighth note. Most common, 4/4, which is why we use the C for common time. That's time signatures. It's pretty easy.